You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 129 of the Daily Beaver here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day is Monday, May 29th, 2023, and it is a bright, sunshiny day here at the Beaver Lodge, with temperatures in the mid-20s expected this afternoon. But most importantly, if you live in Alberta, it's election day. Yeah, because democracy is something you do vote, and bring someone with you because, remember, friends don't let friends vote alone. All right, I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver Ray, and well, with me, as always, is my dear friend. Let's welcome him, Mr. Grizzly. Yes. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. Mr. Grizzly, I think we have a little more time this morning.
Yeah, we do. I'm working from home for the morning. I do have to go into the office later. Whoops, hang on a second here. I do have to go into the office later, but not until around 10 o'clock, so we've got some time.
All right, and Mr. Grizzly, good morning, and how's your mental health today on Election Day, sir?
Well, good morning, Mr. Beaver. Mental health is, I'm going to say the jury's out on that one today again, mostly because my allergies are kicking my butt. Let me just give the folks at home a close-up. You can see how puffy red. Well, actually, I dimmed the color a bit because, look, if I bring it back up, you can see that I look terrible.
Boy, yeah, those
rosacea, puffy eyes. I'm going to bring the color down so I just don't freak people out too much. Allergies are really kicking my butt today. Now, I'm not stuffed up. I don't have sinus congestion or anything like that. It's just itchy, watery, puffy eyes and inflamed skin, even though I'm on medication. And believe it or not, I use an ivermectin cream for this.
Oh.
And the stuff is hyper expensive. It's $250 for a very small tube. I think I've discussed that more than once because it's a stick in my craw, to say the least, that it should cost so much. And the benefits package I have through my company doesn't cover it because it's a name brand. They only pay for generic, but there is no generic version of the product. There's not. Right. It doesn't exist. It's one product, one manufacturer. suffer.
Yay.
Yeah.
Jeez. God. Yeah. They get you that way with the EpiPens too, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
I know that one from experience. And they don't always work. I also know that from experience.
well, that's great. So you
Nothing will
spent all
freak
this
you.
money on a product that doesn't work. Can you get your
Yeah.
money back?
Nothing will freak you out like having an allergic reaction that's going into anaphylactic shock and you feel your throat closing up and you use one EpiPen and it doesn't work. And then you use your backup one and it doesn't work. True story.
Great.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Oh,
Well,
lots to go on about this morning. I got a couple of things I'll start the day
okay.
off with. So
All
here's
right.
some photographs from Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
That's from
Yeah.
Sackville. This is of somebody flying in from Toronto, going to land in Halifax. Yeah, you can see that. And then this is from this is from Dartmouth. So taken in Dartmouth on the left would be Halifax, and that is the smoke. So the wildfires in Nova Scotia are really bad today, right now, at this moment. And to add to that, this is the scary part when you think about it. Insurance giants halts the sale of new home policies in California due to wildfires.
Yeah.
This is the extinction economy. Some of us just don't know it yet. And let me read you a couple of passages from this. The insurance giant State Farm, America's biggest car and home insurer by premium volume, will halt the sale of new home insurance policies in California, citing wildfire risk and inflation of construction costs. Starting on Saturday, the company will not accept insurance applications for business and personal lines, property and casualty insurance. Now, think about that for a minute, okay? Think about
Okay.
what that means, and then think about, I would like to purchase my first home.
Yep.
Not happening. Can't get a mortgage if you can't get insurance.
Right.
Simple as that. So if you live in California and you're about to buy your first home, unless you're able to pay cash for it, you're not getting a mortgage. So it literally is the extinction economy.
Yep.
And this is going to hurt a lot of people. I don't know, it's the tip of an iceberg. I just don't know what is under the water. It's the economic ramifications of this will be felt for years to come, and it just started 2 days ago.
Okay.
So let's see how this plays out. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to play out well for millions of people because it's only a matter of time. Because they're also looking at doing this in let's see, there was a statement here somewhere. I don't know if it's in this same story or something like that, but I did see where other insurance companies in British Columbia
Yeah.
are considering going down that pathway
Yeah. Well,
because they get wildfires in BC.
right. And I mean, this is what we've been asking for we haven't been asking to the point that you can't get insurance, but we've been asking, right? Oh, yeah, or extra 41 cents on the carbon tax in the last 5 years. That's what's completely breaking you and making your life miserable. We need to take that out. It's like, okay, so in order to save 41 cents on the liter, we're going to make it so that you can never afford insurance on a house.
Well, and can't even get insurance on a house because they're
Well, yeah, that's the part we hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
Right. We just thought it would just become so expensive that you can get it, but it's just like, no, we're just not going to sell it to you no matter what you'll pay.
Yeah, because
That's a whole other level.
well, they do the simple risk management, which is one of the things my sister does because she's an accountant, right?
Yeah.
And in California last year, they had 7,490 wildfires in 2022, an increase from the previous year. I don't know what the increase in percentage or number of fires was, but either way, it's not good. It says the biggest insurance company in the country can't absorb the risks of climate change, and we've barely even begun to experience it. It's just 2023. That is how dire of a shape we're in. Our systems already can't cope.
Yeah. Wow.
That's not good.
That's not good. We have an article that came out from the CBC on May 25th also that was saying that there are fewer wildfires in Canada, but they're more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So CBC News reviewed historical data to get a sense of the changing nature of wildfires and the role of climate change in the country. We started collecting wildfire data in 1950, though that first decade is thought to be less reliable. The first chart shows that the number of annual wildfires has in fact been declining since the 1980s, and here I will put that up since we're talking about a chart and we have the visual capacity. Mr. Grizzly?
Mm-hmm.
So we have the data here. So 1980s to 1989 is when we had the greatest number of wildfires by decade, 87,446. So they seem to be declining.
But
At about just under 84,000 in the 90s, so about just over 73,000 in the 2000s, and so far in the 2010s, 60,000, just over. However, at the
their
same time, the
intensity.
fires that break out now tend to burn more territory. Overall, the area burned annually by wildfires has more than doubled since the 1970s, according to a recent federal report. The next chart shows the number of burned hectares by decade. And then, Mr. Grizzly, just
So it's gone
interesting
up.
what happened in the 2000s, that there were less, significantly less, but this is the trend.
Still rising.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a dip and then back up again.
Yep.
2000 to 2009, there was a dip. And
Right.
then it's gone back
So-
up to previous levels and just keeps rising.
Exactly. So Mike Flanagan of Thompson Rivers University in Kamloops, BC, which is one of the country's foremost experts on wildfires, reviewed the data, and he says the trend is not just a straight line, it's a bumpy patch, but there's a large year-to-year variability because of weather and ignition. So a recipe for wildfire will have 3 ingredients: ignition, either lighting or humans; fuel, dried grasses, shrubs, trees, and other vegetation; and dry weather. But the particulars of those 3 ingredients are changing along with the climate. In Canada, roughly half the fires now are caused by lightning, but lightning strikes are on the rise and expected to further increase with climate change. So you have all these people there that were saying when the whole 2 weeks or week and a half when we were saying that they were trying to say that these fires were set by the government. You had these people writing all over the web. It's like, there are so many fires, you can't make me believe that they're all caused by lightning.
They weren't.
More and more and more are going to be caused by lightning.
But they weren't all caused by
They weren't
lightning.
all caused by lightning, but
Nobody
more,
said
more
that.
and more of them are going to be caused by lightning. Right. So you need to get used to this concept. Yes. If you can't believe it now, you're going to have to believe it more in the future because it's just going to happen.
So, for the conservatives the conservative delegates who said that, climate change isn't real. Alberta, Nova Scotia's on fire. Alberta's on fire. And,
BC's on fire. Saskatchewan was on fire.
they're all on fire.
Yeah.
It's and Ontario's at very high risk right now. But let's look at what the other wildfire that's burning in Alberta right now with the UCP and so Garnet Genuis, who threw his support behind Daniel Smith last night, and he's supporting the UCP. And yet, here's the funny thing. Look at this little thing from his August 30th, 2022. So last night, he endorsed Daniel Smith in the UCP, but in August of 2022, Daniel Smith is peddling snake oil easy solutions that won't work and won't help. Alberta is in serious place, seeking serious leadership and serious progress. We need a serious leader.
Oh, my.
So this gives you an idea of the spineless cowards who only want power and control. That's all it is. Because he threw her under the bus last August. We're getting music there, sir. I'm gonna do that for a second while you fix that because we're getting music coming through and your signal's dropping off. So after you got it fixed, okay, yeah, we're getting music. Yeah, it's really annoying, and your signal's dropping off to nothing. So after last summer when he threw her under the bus, saying she's not serious, she's this, that, the other thing, she's not a serious leader. And now he's throwing his support behind her because guess what? That rats leaving the drowning ship all jump on one another and push each other down. I don't know what's going on there. There you are, sir. I don't know what happened there.
Hold on there. How's that better? I had to adjust the mic too. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What happened there? We had your
Again,
signal
I
went
don't
off.
know.
Some music started playing, and I was like, "What the hell?
I
Are
don't
we
know.
at the
This has
pub?"
been happening like the last like 2, 3 shows for some reason. Something just
Mm,
automatically starts.
It might be time for a new computer.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Just really weird. Kid James Douglas is so fabulous. His blood type is house music. House music all night long. House
House
music
music
all
all
night
night
long.
long.
Yeah, Garnet Jenner sounds like a Harry Potter character indeed. I'm yeah, I don't
He
get this guy.
supports her when it will look like, oh my goodness, we might lose some ground. Our crystal fascism might slip a little bit in Alberta. So I'll throw my support behind her because
But
I mean
what's this
really,
guy worried about? Oh man, holy crap. I mean, jeez. This guy's pro conversion therapy.
I know this is what I don't get, right? Like,
Like,
it's,
oh, maybe that's what happened. He didn't think that she was, and then she had like the people saying that they're showing pornography in school, and that if there's like one trans kid in a class that has good test scores, then the test scores are all screwed because that trans kid is the equivalent of a teaspoon of feces.
yeah.
So maybe that's what. Oh well, she's my kind of girl now, right? Because of course the conversion therapy guy would vote for like a firewoman. Gee, that was a stretch.
He's a sarcastic terrorist too.
Yeah. And then you have Harper, like the endorsements. Harper apparently had to do a take two on his endorsement. This
Oh
time he
yeah,
did
I heard.
see UCP and Danielle. Yeah. And they got him on a darker background this time, so he didn't look like it was a proof of life video. Ay, 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 ay. And
Well,
all the
this is the
progressive,
current state, right?
right?
Doug Griffiths, former PC cabinet minister in Alberta. This election is as much about integrity as anything else. I'm supporting Rachel Notley.
And this is happening left, right, and center. Even like, as far as I'm concerned, permanent mayor of Canada, Naheed Nenshi.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. And I
And
like
he
how
doesn't
he
take
was
positions.
honest too. He said, "When I'm going to call you out when you do things I disagree with, and Rachel was cool about it. She's like, "Of course, I expect nothing less because she's a person of integrity."
Yeah.
You know, Danielle Smith would never do that. She'd go running away and hide in her bedroom and then do a podcast and say something like, "Well,
I
I don't
already
know.
answered it.
What if we did this instead?"
I already answered that question.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. I already answered that question. No, you didn't.
Ah, man. Oh, man, 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 man. I tell you. Yeah, really, Linda, they should at least delete old tweets if they're going to change their mind that much.
Oh, he did delete that, but screen caps. The internet is forever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Garnet. Guess what? Guess what? You said it, you wrote it, you put it out there. It's out there forever. There's things I've said that I've since deleted, but I know they're still out there somewhere. Somebody's got a copy of them somewhere, and they'll try
Right.
and use it against me. But here's the thing: I'll just go, "Yeah, I said that. So what?"
And then I realized it was a stupid thing and I erased
So I
it.
deleted it. I made a mistake. What's your point? Oh, you're trying to hoard it over me? Never going to happen. I
Right.
admit to anything I ever did. I would never deny something I did
Yep.
because I did it.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
Good. Why lie when the truth will do?
right?
Yeah, that was me. That was
Yeah, I
dumb.
did it. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm the opposite
It's not
tune of
that
Shaggy.
hard.
No, it was me. No, it was me. Saw you on the
Yeah,
bathroom.
really.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, that was mine.
It was me.
That was me too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I did
But
that.
yeah, but here's the thing: is that we at least are confident enough that should we have ever run for politics and there somebody says, oh, once in your life you wrote this one tweet, or maybe like let's say we're only human. 15 times in your life you wrote these 15 tweets. Let's say once a year you said something stupid in the last 15 years. You're not. It's still not that UCP candidate style. Hi. I guess like people are paying attention to me now, so I'd like to issue a blanket apology for like everything I've ever tweeted over the last 15 years. Like, don't ask me about specifics.
Mm,
Just like I'm apologizing for all of it now, and if we could just like move on. Yeah, I'm guessing if you're issuing a blanket apology, you would really like for us to move on. I'm more like, well, hey, let's see what it is you're apologizing for. Let's stay here for a while. But hey, yeah. course.
Yeah.
I did all this stuff. I was like, I repeated, like, I'm sorry I tweeted these things without researching, and I'm sorry I did it constantly and consistently so much over 15 years that now I have to issue a blanket apology for all of it.
Yeah.
There's like so much that I'm just going to apologize for all of it, because if I broke it down, we'd be here until like the vote. At least we know we will never have to do that. So, yeah.
I've got to you here.
Don't vote for assholes.
Got something here I'm going to put on the screen in a sec, and I'll read it out because this is a little on the troublesome side. This is some mis and disinformation. And let's see if I can get a better image of it. Yeah, no, that's not it. Let's see. I might have to blow this up a little bit. We'll see. Let me just put this on the screen for you to see. And I'll read the other version of it here. Hang on. It's so Muslim community has been inundated with messages like this, which include a fake tweet. Can Mickey Emery's campaign or Daniel Smith confirm whether or not the UCP has authorized this? If not, they must announce this and stop spreading lies, hate, and bigotry. And here's what the fake tweet from Rachel Notley says. I am a proud trans rights activist, and here is no place for Christian fascism in our province. Okay. If elected, I am committed to ensuring that the kids of Alberta have access to gender-affirming surgeries without requiring parental consent. Oh, hang on a sec. And that non-supportive parents who do not affirm their child's chosen gender face criminal charges. Enough is enough. Vote for the Alberta NDP as a vote for a transgender future. Okay, she never said that. She just didn't say it. So it's like, here's what the remainder of this after the tweet is. Some of the parted Muslims in our province trying to spread propaganda that the UCP has some hate towards Muslims. If there is any hate, it is because we failed to build bridges with them. The sad reality, they ignore the facts that the NDP is in a battle against our God, against Allah. See, again, it's all fake. And it's stochastic terrorism. Textbook. It's creating hate. It's going to create an act of violence. I damn well know it. Somebody's going to get hurt somewhere, because that's what happens when you spread bullshit information like that, mis and disinformation. People get hurt. And what will the UCP? Will they come out? No, they won't. They won't do a damn thing. Look, here's another one. This is Brian Jean, or is it Jean or Jean? I don't know. I'd say Jean probably.
He goes
because
by
he's in
Jean.
Alberta. So I just refer to him as BJ because, although that's something that people enjoy. Anyway, here's one that he posted yesterday. And this is like insidious because look at this. Albertans or Trudeau. Daniel Smith, strong economy, more money in your pocket, standing up for your rights. Blue smiley face Rachel Notley. Triple the carbon tax, chase out investment, reckless spending. And it's got a bad picture of her and it's red like a devil.
Right. But
this
Brian Jean is actually going door to door saying, yeah, vote us in and I'm going to ditch her.
So please explain to me.
You've got UCP candidates knocking door to door and say, yeah, we understand. Like, just vote us in and we'll get rid of her.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have James that says, and then she says that Notley and Trudeau hated each other. But yeah, apparently he's her boss.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's literally, yep, exactly, Mohan, bogus crap. It literally, it's flooding the zone. It's just flooding the zone. Whatever they could say. I mean, this is the desperation, right? And we've also seen like signs of so much cheating.
Oh God.
Like, campaign signs at polling stations, people leaving cars with decals and stuff on them at polling stations while people were there for advance voting. And only the UCP doing this, only UCP candidates.
Okay, and here we go. I just got some information about this, and here it is. Just found out that this fake tweet was created by a Mickey Amery volunteer used to scare the Muslim community to vote for the UCP.
Oh. So Mickey Amery has another person that's doing weird stuff about race, and it's maybe not Tariq Khan?
Yeah.
Because Tariq Khan is on Jewish detail.
Yes.
So they got someone on Muslim detail, I guess.
Of course, they have to have
Gee,
somebody to cover off all the bases, right?
this Mickey guy sounds like a real winner.
Well, we've got the Christo-fascists in Alberta that are trying to take over the country, and it all goes back to this from Marcy
Yep.
McDonald, right?
Yep.
For those of you who didn't tune in on Friday, I'm going to reread this thing I've posted on the screen. This is about Marcy McDonald's book, which is called The Armageddon Factor. It was written in 2011. In her new book, award-winning journalist Marcy McDonald draws back the curtain on the mysterious world of the right-wing Christian nationalist movement in Canada and its many ties to the Conservative government of Stephen Harper. To most Canadian, the politics of the U.S., where fundamentalist Christians wield tremendous power and culture wars split the country, seem too foreign to ever happen here. But the Armageddon Factor shows that the Canadian Christian right, infuriated by the legalization of same-sex marriage and the increasing secularization of society, has been steadily and stealthily building organizations, alliances, and contacts that have put them close to the levers of power and put the government of Canada in their debt, determined to outlaw homosexuality and abortion. Determined to outlaw them. And to restore Canada to what they see as a divinely determined destiny to be a nation ruled by Christian laws and precepts. I'm going to stop right there because it's too disturbing. But like you just said, you've got somebody on Jewish detail, somebody on Muslim detail, and it's stochastic terrorism, it's Christo-fascism. And if we do not get out there and vote, we're going to lose everything. We're going to lose everything we have had people over generations fight for, and in many cases die for. And we'll lose it with the stroke of a pen. Because they don't care. As long as they have power and money and control, that's all that matters to them. We really are. Alberta, you're on the precipice right now. Don't make the wrong decision. Please, I beg of you, don't make the wrong decision.
All right. And we'll probably have more on Alberta throughout the course of this episode here and there. But I wanted to get back to the wildfires for a second, if you wouldn't mind.
Thing.
All right. Because there was one last detail when I was talking about those ones. So the number of wildfires has decreased. The amount of area burned in wildfires has increased. And the thing is that the number of fire disasters, however, are increasing. And a fire disaster, when we're talking about in the United States what a mass shooting qualifies as,
right.
A fire disaster must at least meet one of these conditions: 10 or more people killed, 100 or more people injured, relocated, infected, displaced, or homeless. Authorities appeal for national or international assistance, historical significance, and causes significant damage to a community. Fire disasters are on the rise, with more than 3 times as many between 2010 and 2019 than the 3 decades prior. And if we look at that, Mr. Grizzly, in the 80s, there were 9 disasters. In the 90s, 19, 2000s, 34, 2010s, 36.
Wow.
So nearly doubled.
Yeah.
Nearly doubled from the 1990s.
It's really disturbing.
We've been being told for years, you got to change your ways. You got to change your ways. And that requires cost. And it's an effort. When people say cost is not always money, right? Cost is effort.
That's right.
Because I got to stop doing this and doing something else. That costs effort. I've got to renovate. Oh, well, it's maybe easier to just, for example, you might want to you might have a house and you want to put on a heat pump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to get a quote, and, there's an upfront cost, and I don't know. Maybe I can tolerate the price of gas and the gas, and the carbon taxes, which are going to be going up if we keep them. Mm-hmm. Conservatives don't destroy everything. All that stuff is going to be going up. So it's pay now, pay later.
You're going to pay.
You're going to pay
either way.
Right? So it's, I don't know, man. You just, there's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you can keep on handling the pain, that's more expensive for you. It's more of an effort for you to change your behavior than to actually absorb the cost of the inconvenience. you won't expend that energy. You won't make that effort. You won't put out that cost.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, it seems that they don't want to put out the cost until like the fire's knocking on the door and said, knock, knock, knock. I'm here.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody, don't know who it was, but it was like, they won't believe it's real until it's at their door, or until their house is actually on fire.
Well, there's lots of photos of that right now.
Yep. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do for that. Nothing you can do for that. Because to say you can lead a horse to college, but you can't make it drink.
College?
Yes, you can lead a horse to college, but you can't make it think. Really, it's a joke. Instead of water, and can't make it drink. Man. Yep. So, to anyone suffering and being affected by the fires, particularly in Nova Scotia, because according to CBC yesterday at 11:47 a.m., the fire had grown to 2,296 hectares in size, and it's not like Nova Scotia is a huge province. 2,300 hectares in Nova Scotia is a good share of the province. Share of the province. So I believe that it says an out of control forest fire burning near Barrington Lake in Shelburne County has grown to 2,296 hectares. Last reported location of the fire, well, that's since yesterday, so that won't be relevant now. But the fire is getting close to Halifax now.
Yeah,
I think there were 10 last night before I went to bed. There were 10 houses in that area closer to Halifax that had burned down as well.
Yeah, it's on the doorstep, right?
Yeah. Wow, it's scary as hell.
It really is. It's not getting better anytime soon. I'm like,
yeah. If you happen to be in Alberta, because it is election day, and if you have not voted in advance polls, which have been doing very, very well, by the way. I think it was record turnout for advance polls. I'll have something on that a little later when I find the article. But the polls open at 9 a.m. Today and close at 8 p.m. If you need to find your polling location, kits and cubs, Mr. Grizzly, if you'll put this up,
sure
elections.abed.ca is where you go. And right here, you have on the left side where to vote, and then the Elections Alberta website on the right. So you just find your location, click on that, and
type in your and you're good to go.
Type in your information, and we'll find that. So please always to double check that before you go vote. Make sure that you have everything with you that you need to vote.
So what's the web page?
Oh, the web page is elections.ab.ca. Yeah, Kid James, Ree is having a baby. Yeah, I really need to start looking at the comments. Yeah, today should be the day. Today should be the day. Shout out to the Sea Witch having her baby in the middle of all of it, says Kit Chen. Indeed, yes, we're looking forward to have a new kit join the lodge. So yes, please go there and check that everything's okay with your voting location, particularly if you are in an area that's affected by the fires, because there always could be last minute changes. Also, if you're in the area affected by the fires, I haven't heard anything, but I haven't looked for anything as well. Some of your voting locations, maybe your voting date might be extended. Maybe there were. So double check that, because sometimes in areas that have a huge disaster, the electoral body is able to grant extra days to vote in those specific ridings, or extra means to vote. So always double check that type of thing, because your vote is definitely needed, kits and cubs. All right. What else do we have?
Well, we are going to give a shout out. Going to give a shout out to Lachlan Cross and the Cruise FM crew, and our good friend James P. White.
Yes,
James P. White.
James. God love that man. Love that man.
Good lad. That's a good lad. 95.7 Cruise FM. 95.7 Cruise FM. Go ahead, guys. You can use that as your voiceover. You can listen to their show right after hours because they're in Alberta. They're in Edmonton. It's 2 hours behind. For those of you who are up early in Alberta and listening to us, you can join them shortly thereafter. But in the meantime, stay tuned. We've got more stuff for you.
Yeah.
Did you like
So
that?
in Alberta, I love that. I just wish I hadn't opened my mouth in the middle of it.
That's fine. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good.
The provincial election administrator in Alberta said the advanced voter count was 758,550 after advanced polls closed Saturday night evening. There's about 4 million people in Alberta?
Yeah, a little over 4.
A little over. So that's a good advanced turnout. This is an 8.29% more votes. Yeah, this is 8.29% more. I had some words in the article. I thought that was strangely written. This is 8.29% more votes compared with numbers from 2019, when a total of 700,476 were cast, according to the Chief Electoral Officer report. So this year's advanced numbers represents a little more than 27% of registered voters on the pre-election list.
Well, as of this exact moment in time, there are 4,719,941 people in Alberta.
There you go. Okay, so closer to
Scotia. Yeah, Nova Scotia is 1,048,000, 500,000 alone in Halifax.
Mm-hmm. So advanced polls were open from the 23rd until Saturday, May 27th. And a lot of people are wondering if this level of advanced voting means a lot of young people came out. Because that would be the demographic, right? Yeah, with polls, a lot of people, the polls have been coming out and they're a little all over the place in terms of what they say. A lot of them are saying it's pretty much guaranteed that the UCP is going to win this no matter what, because even though some polls might be showing the NDP even leading in battleground Calgary because the city is divided north-south with a greater proportion, I believe, I might be wrong on this one, I don't remember which is which, but I believe in the south of the city a greater proportion of NDP voters and in the north a greater proportion of UCP voters. It's where the votes are located, basically, is what they're saying, and it may still not be enough. However, one thing about polling is that polling goes from, expected voters, people that you would expect to vote based on already established voting patterns. If something different happens, like, for example, a group of people that typically don't vote come out in larger numbers than usual, well, that probably won't get picked up. Right, because the sampling is done based on trends that they've known before and started initially based on the census. So there are things that sometimes they don't capture, and then you get that surprise, and then everybody says the poll was wrong. Well, welcome to the 1 time out of 20, right? 19 times out of 20 with a margin of error of a certain percent. So we really don't know. We really don't know this time because we don't know how motivated people are to vote. And that's where the thing becomes, because it seems that the NDP voters are more motivated to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if more people, how many UCP voters that are sort of like that man you showed us, that former and Tom
PC cabinet minister,
Casey, who are all going out and saying, you know what, this time lend your vote to the NDP because we can't have this. Well, conservatives and saying we can't have this. So,
and again,
there might be some people that choose to stay home.
But these are progressive conservatives who are saying these people are not progressive. They're not conservatives. They are stochastic terrorists. I mean, they're not saying that outright. But you got to remember, who's the biggest backer of the UCP? These guys.
Yep.
Take Back Alberta.
Good evening. Some have speculated a controversial right-wing group is the power behind the throne of the UCP. Now that group appears to be grabbing even more power ahead of the election. Experts say registered third-party advertiser Take Back Alberta is a name to watch as it allegedly inserts members onto conservative boards and associations. Tim Brooke has details.
Lisa Segatak recently attended a UCP constituency meeting in her Livingston-McLeod riding. It's a night she won't soon forget.
It felt very like a coup.
The longtime Conservative says the meeting was a heated event that ended in a massive leadership overhaul.
During the meeting, a couple people were saying, yeah, I'm a member of Take Back Alberta, and I kind of turned around, and that's when it started to tweak on me that things were getting a little bit too aggressive and extremist.
Take Back Alberta is the controversial right-wing group believed to be behind the major turnover here and on boards in Rimbey, Rocky Mountain House, Sundre, and Innisfail, Sylvan Lake.
There's a lot of them across the province.
MLA Devin Dreeshen's constituency association was flipped. His mom and uncle were voted out last month, and political experts speculate his riding is now set to head in a very different direction.
I'm excited to work with them. They view the same views that I have when it comes to the NDP.
So what is Take Back Alberta? Its founder calls it easy to identify.
An educational organization that teaches people how their political system works and how they can get engaged with it.
But that's not everyone's view. Started as a way to push back against COVID measures, the registered third-party advertiser now takes credit for removing Jason Kenney from his post as premier and electing Danielle Smith. Members have ties to the Coots border blockade and the Ottawa convoy.
These are the people that Jason Kenney said were the inmates taking over the asylum.
The group is extremely organized. 9 of the UCP board member candidates it endorsed now hold leadership positions in the party. Many believe TBA is pushing for private health care and education and eventually separation.
It's not a one person, one vote, equal representation in democracy. It's a few people that are very well organized and motivated.
Now, according to David Wallace, David Parker has been introduced to the FSB, which would be formerly known as the KGB. He made the introduction. According to David Wallace, David Parker is a Russian asset, which would make sense because Take Back Alberta is not about democracy and it's not about teaching civics.
Following the playbook.
It's fascism, my friends. It's fascism.
It's following the GOP playbook. It's following the Russian playbook. It's following the Hungarian and Polish playbook.
Yep. And it's astonishing to me that in 2023, fascism could be on such a creeping rise like it is because, you know, at a time when we have, you know, the instant news cycle, not even the 24-hour news cycle. We have the instant news cycle. You have access to all of the world's information at your fingertips. And let's look at that a little bit closer for a second, shall we? You do realize that in countries where people don't even have electricity or plumbing, they have a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Because they run their businesses, small businesses, whatever. They have a smartphone, and their smartphone infrastructure, i.e. their cell phone coverage, is vastly better than ours is here in Canada. As any soldier who served in Afghanistan would tell you, any Canadian soldier, number one. And number two, everybody around the world suddenly has this instant access to the worldwide information in their pocket. And yet, this rise of fascism is happening because people are just getting very surgical strikes, if you will, of information dropped upon them. They don't have time to sort through it. And I've been saying this, and I'm going to continue to say it until people understand what is happening. Because I'm afraid that a lot of people just don't recognize what's taking place. We have people who wish to do you harm ascending to positions of power, and they're doing it incrementally. But, you know, Harper was the king of incrementalism.
Yep.
But it's changed since his time. Now they're just going after bigger and bigger chunks every day.
Yeah.
And the bigger the chunks they get, the bolder they get. The more they want to take. And they'll continue to take until there's nothing left.
Yeah. Yeah. James said what Paul just said, Ari Parker would be considered batshit if it weren't for the fact it was said by David Wallace.
Exactly.
Yep. Oh, man. Alberta. Yeah. So I'm sitting here hoping that today is the day that sanity returns to the province. Little update. We had hoped also that yesterday might be the day that sanity returned to Turkey. But alas, it was not to be as we had expected. What we thought would happen did happen because of the two candidates that got dropped off the ballot. The one that had 5% was a hardcore ultranationalist. And of the two, the candidates remaining, Erdogan is more of the ultranationalist.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, still about half the runoff vote went to Kılıçdaroğlu anyway. So Erdogan didn't get all of it because in the first round, I think he got 49.4 or something and only got up to 52.16. So there was a significant portion of the votes that did go to the rival, but not enough. So, Recep Tayyip Erdogan is the president of Turkey for yet another 5 years, bringing him to 25 now. Not all as president. I think he was prime minister for 2 terms and then hit term limits and then ran for president and then, or something like that. But yeah, so, oh well. Just it would be that part of the world is getting a little strange because we had not too long ago also oh god, what's his name, Syria, Bashar al-Assad being welcomed back to the Arab League.
Oh,
yeah. So he had been ostracized for about 12 or 13 years, and I guess they all turned around and says, oh well, they did their best to try to get him out, and he's still there, so I guess we still need to deal with him, so I guess we'll have him back. So just prove it again if you just wait it out. If you're a dictator and you just wait it out. But if you're a butcher and you just wait it out, because you'll be invited back in. And there are some countries like Qatar and a group of them that are not very happy. Yes, and it's true. James, some of the Arab League welcome him back. Back are as bad as worse than Al-Assad, like
true.
MBS, Major Bonesaw, I believe. But yeah, a lot of them, some I can understand. Well, I can't understand really. I can't understand the man's a butcher, but that's my puritanical, my purity test guy. I guess I can understand people deciding we're going to face reality. We're still going to need to deal with this nation, and this guy is still there despite our best efforts to get rid of him. So let's face reality. We don't like it. Let's do it. And that's the same thing, like, for example, recognizing the Taliban in Afghanistan. Well, nobody wants to recognize it, but if you want to deliver aid of any kind somewhere over there, you're going to have to deal with it because they're the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
When you're not getting anything done. So, but then, some of the people that were welcoming him back, it was like big hugs and open arms and kiss, kiss, kiss on. And hence, where you got James coming, some of the Arab League was welcoming him back are as bad or worse than Al-Assad. I'm guessing the people welcoming him with open arms and giving him kisses are the people that Kid James is talking about here.
Yeah. They just don't care. All they want is power and control.
It's just...
And their brand of freedom. Their brand of freedom, which is not free at all.
Yeah. I'm not... boy, anyway.
Well, there's the whole...
these are not good omens for the for the votes.
No, they're not. There's the whole, for the folks who are unaware of the difference between patriotism and nationalism, I'll just put a link to the dictionary.com description thereof in the chat, because there is a difference. At one point, they meant largely the same thing, but they have since diverged, and they no longer mean the same thing. And it's, patriotism is one thing, nationalism is another, and nationalism isn't good. Nationalism is what the Nazi Party in Germany were. They were nationalists. Basically, if you don't support us, get the hell out. That's what their take was. And a patriot would be like, well, hang on a sec. That's not democracy. Democracy means we have the right to say these things. But if you're disagreeing with what I'm saying and you're telling me to leave, that's not patriotism at all. It's nationalism. There's a tremendous difference between the two. Anyway, I put the link in the chat for those who are wondering. Nationalism is bad. Patriotism is good. Rampant patriotism often can lead to nationalism because people get blinded by their love for country and led down a path of, well, MAGA Republicans.
Yep. And the difference between patriotism and nationalism also goes in hand with the difference between a religion and a cult.
Oh, yeah.
In a religion,
That's
your
it.
savior dies for you.
Mhm. That's right.
Not so
Cult,
in a
you
cult.
die for the savior. Yeah. It's
Eyes
true.
wide open, kids. Eyes wide open. Ay, 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 ay. We have some good news.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
That's
Well,
nice.
remember how we were talking about Edmonton Oilers? And we're talking about Draisaitl
Mm-hmm.
because he's German.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying, you need to watch out for Germany. They might be becoming a hockey powerhouse.
Yes.
And we said, sometimes you got to be careful because Germany has defeated us a couple of times. Well, but for me, like I said, the Stanley Cup was over. So I moved on to the World Hockey Championships. The IIHF Hockey Championships were happening. And, Team Canada won.
They did.
They won the gold medal, 5-2. Against who?
Germany.
Gee, that didn't take long.
Yeah. So the silver medalists are Germany. And the bronze medalists was it Latvia, I think, won the bronze?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it was Latvia that got the bronze. I could be wrong, but I'm saying Latvia, and it could be somebody else. I read something about it late last night as I was going to bed, and I meant to make a mention of it this morning, but I kind of,
Yeah.
forgot.
No, United States won the bronze medal. No, that's
okay.
2021. Sorry, no, that's the wrong year.
Yeah, see, there you go.
How do you
US
type
didn't.
bronze medal in your web browser for the hockey champ, and then they give you the result for 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the first one that pops up.
Yeah, that's. Oh, you know why? It's to appease Americans, I guess. I don't know.
That's really after overtime.
For
Yes,
old pal Jake's watching.
Latvia
Could you explain that?
Yeah, you're right. Latvia defeated the USA
See?
4-3.
Told you, I'm dialed in, man. I'm dialed in.
Okay, remember the days when we would watch the World Championships, and it was like Canada, Sweden, and
Finland,
maybe
or Russia,
Finland, or one
yeah.
of the Czech Republic or something, or
Yeah.
Russia. Wow, Canada, Germany, Latvia, and the United States. You ever think that day would come?
Well, the sport has
Possible.
grown. It's like I said on Friday, and I was at the pub and I mentioned this to the guys. I said, who's going to appear in the Stanley Cup final? Will it be the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars, or the Dallas Stars? Will they be meeting with the Florida Panthers? 30 years ago, if I had said, well, Florida and Vegas, or Florida and Dallas in the Stanley Cup final, like, Paul, you need to go to the hospital right now because there's something wrong with your melon. Did you hit your head earlier today? Because those teams, that's not, even if they were in the NHL, which they weren't at the time, even if they were, well, Florida was actually, and Dallas was still in Minnesota at the time. Vegas didn't exist, but even if they were at the time, it would be like, in 93, Florida had no hope in hell of ever making the playoffs. Kind of like the Ottawa Senators, the first season in the league. I mean, they finished, I think, dead last.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But because they changed the draft for expansion teams,
right,
the Vegas Golden Knights were in the Stanley Cup final in their first year.
Right.
Because of the way they changed the draft for new teams, right? You could only protect, I think, up to 2 players on your team. So it balanced out the league better because I think the league came to the decision that, the way we did it back in the early 90s when we brought in new teams was not good. Wasn't good. Tampa Bay and Florida and Ottawa, they struggled for a decade or more because, anyway.
Yeah.
I got to get some more coffee. I'll be right back.
Right. So, according to the province, Sammy Blais scored twice as Canada beat Germany 5-2 to capture gold at the Men's World Hockey Championships. Lawson Krause, captain Tyler Toffoli, and Scott Lawton also scored, and Peyton Krebs pitched in 2 assists for Team Canada. It feels really good, Blais said. We've been in Europe for a month, and we've all waited for that moment to play for the gold medal game. And we're lucky enough to have won it. Well, way to go. Way to go, Team Canada. This is very, very, makes me happy. Because when that happens, then they get to play our song. And yes, Latvia 4, United States 3 in overtime. Defenseman Christian Rubins scored his second goal into overtime to lead Latvia to victory over the United States and earns a bronze medal. It's the first top 3 finish for Latvia at the tournament. Its previous best was a 7th place it managed 3 times. So, way to go. Way to go, Latvia. Great. And we have Kit Christian about our comment about religions and cults and all that kind of stuff. He said, religion is a club. Democracy is a process. Ooh, I like that. I like that. That's some good stuff there. Right on. Okay, more news because in the United States, it seems that we had a big piece of political performance art over the last 3 weeks with the Republicans pretending that they may not raise the debt ceiling. Of course, they are. So we went through a lot of trying to make people panic for no real reason. But that's been happening. And in Texas, it seems that the Attorney General, we've mentioned him once or twice, maybe a while ago. I believe his first name is Ken, last name Paxton. I might be wrong on the first name. Is being taken down by his own party. Now, this guy is, we have to use the word allegedly, corruption on 2 legs, but he's been in it. There had been FBI investigations open into him, active FBI investigations, as he is the Attorney General. And for some reason, Texans kept on electing him. Well, now it seems that his own party have filed 20 articles of impeachment against him.
Oopsie.
And then the second that happened, what did he do? He accused all his fellow Republicans of being liberals. Texas Republicans of being liberal. Texas Republicans. The state run by Abbott.
Yeah.
The guy that can't keep electricity going on in the winter. Him. These people, liberals. Well, not Abbott, because Abbott is a very, very close personal friend of his. And but this process is going at record speed. It seems like I'm not even sure the vote may have happened already. I'm not sure exactly. Or it might be happening tonight. But it seems that he does have the governor's ear, and Paxton, of course, because all these people are working on compromise, has been saying that he has dirt.
Oh.
Well, you're the Attorney General. If you have dirt, why haven't you acted on it yet, twit?
How much dirt do they have?
Wow. But this is the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got dirt on you. I mean, at Fox, it was the Tucker Carlson was like, yeah, I'm going to go work for Elon on Twitter. And, so I know where all the bodies are buried and I'm going to draw you a map.
Okay. Feel free. We'd very much like that.
If all these people keep on saying that they know where the bodies are buried, that's how they're keeping their fellow people in line. I keep on saying, what are you doing with that other hand that you got me on speakerphone?
I don't know, man.
Jeez. So, let's see. Texas Republican-run House representatives have voted to impeach State Attorney General Ken Paxton. So it's happened. The vote did take place. Mr. Paxton, an ally of former President Donald Trump, is now suspended from office pending a trial in the Senate. A 2/3 vote in the upper chamber, where Republicans also dominate, is required to permanently expel him. Paxton, age 60, denies all the accusations against him, responding to a 121-23 vote. Oh, that tips the scales. Mr. Paxton said in a statement, "The ugly spectacle in the Texas House today confirmed the outrageous impeachment plot against me was never meant to be fair or just. It was a politically motivated sham from the beginning. Clutch pearl scream witch hunt." The impeachment vote was on 20 articles, which also include accusations of improperly aiding a wealthy political donor and conducting a sham investigation against whistleblowers. The result demonstrates a very public split between Texas Republicans. Attorney General Paxton continuously and blatantly violated laws, rules, policies, and procedures, House Republican David Spiller said, but he's been doing that for like 3 terms, and he only just got around to doing that now.
Mm.
I wonder if he did the same thing George Santos did. Went after a rich person's money.
That's the mistake, right? You go after a poor person or a group of poor people, nobody cares. But you go after one rich person, suddenly everybody gives a shit. It's not that anybody cares. It's just that one rich person wields the power to make people care, I guess.
Now, the House vote makes Mr. Paxton the first state official in Texas to be impeached in almost 50 years. I'm reading from BBC World News here. Mr. Paxton is well known in America for his high-profile litigation campaigns. In 2020, he unsuccessfully pressed the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Mr. Trump's defeat to Democratic challenger Joe Biden in the presidential election for the state of Texas. 5 years earlier, Mr. Paxton called the Supreme Court's decision legalizing gay marriage in all 50 states, quote, a lawless ruling, vowing to support state workers who refuse to marry couples on religious grounds. He's such a nice guy, isn't he? But he's perhaps
asshole.
best known for spearheading the ongoing fights in courts to challenge Biden administration's changes to the immigration system. Yeah. This guy is... and this is amazing because this article is only talking about these few things. This guy has been in controversy like crazy. If you look up his Wikipedia,
He a little nuts.
Yeah. he's all over the place. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, let's see. 20 articles. There we go. Oh my God. Wow. Ignored his official duty to protect charities when he directed his office to interfere in the Mittel Foundation's charity lawsuit. Abused his official power to issue written legal opinions when he directed his office to write an opinion to prevent Paul's properties from being sold in foreclosure. And a whole bunch of stuff. Abused his power by directing his office to violate the law regarding 2 public information requests, one concerning the Department of Public Safety records for criminal investigation of this Nate Paul guy. Gee, and it just keeps on. Obstructed justice, accepted a bribe, made false statements, did not accurately reveal his financial interests, made or directed for multiple and false misleading statements, conspired or tried to conspire with other people.
So here's who they are.
Holy crap.
Get in line, losers. We're going losing.
And this guy is the Attorney General of Texas in 2023. On July 28th, 2015, a straight grand jury indicted Paxton on 3 criminal charges, 2 counts of securities fraud, a first-degree felony, and 1 count of failing to register with state securities regulators, a third-degree felony. Paxton's indictment marked the first such criminal indictment of a Texas Attorney General in 32 years.
Wow.
And he's been Attorney General all that time. With an indictment. This case still haven't finished going through court yet. He's been indicted since 2015, and they keep electing. Don't vote for indicted people.
Stop doing that.
Maybe stop. Gee, doctor, it hurts when I do this.
Don't do
stop
that.
Doing that.
Yeah. Stop doing that.
Every time I drink from my cup of coffee, I feel this sharp stabbing pain in my eye. Have you removed the spoon from the cup? Come on, people. He's indicted.
Yeah. And they still elected him. That's this crowd right here. That's this crowd. Irony is telling people to go back to your country while flying the flag of a country that doesn't exist in a country that defeated it. A bunch of people flying rebel flags on the state legislature grounds.
Yeah. And then, if that wasn't enough, in 2016, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a civil enforcement action against him, specifically charging Paxton with violating various provisions in the Securities Act and various provisions of the Securities Exchange Act by defrauding Cervici investors. So, yeah, he did go over after rich people's money. He denied the allegations, but one of the defendants and Severgy itself reached a separate settlement with the SEC, agreeing to pay $260,000 in penalties in October 20. So, and then there's the whistleblower allegations. That's October 2020. State bar professional misconduct lawsuit against Pacton. He's got all these lawsuits go, and people keep.
Yeah, I know.
The man, he's the male Daniel Smith.
Yeah.
He's a walking hot mess express.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I guess the Republicans have finally had enough. Are finally deciding to get rid of him. Gee, 8 years late to the party, but hey.
Let him do his damage first, and then we'll get it. Then we'll trash him, right?
What kind
of
world do we live in, man?
I know. It's stupid.
So, well, let's see. Well, he's only been indicted and he's innocent to proven guilty. Oh, he's only been indicted again, but he's innocent. Well, he's again? Well, he's only innocent to prove. What the again?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to do something about this guy.
Yeah.
It's probably how it went. Okay, 5 times now he's a liability. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, man. Yeah. Kid Linda, Texas is crazy. Mr. Grizzly, there's something I wanted to do. I have a gentle correction to issue upon myself, but I need to find a little timestamp in a previous episode. So if you could take over for a little bit while I look for that,
sure,
I would find that very helpful.
I can try and do that. I've got a couple of things here I want to discuss. So I'm gonna show this tweet first off. I'm gonna put this on the screen. It's from a doctor in. Actually, I don't know where he's located. Hang on, let me find out where he's located. Brian, MD. He's in Parkland, Florida. Okay, so that has its own heaviness, right? Because remember Parkland with the massacre that happened there a few years back. Well, he's. This is what is in his. Hang on, I'm just going to get the image here. This is in the hallway of one of his child's elementary school. I got to tag it here, and then I will show it to you. Once I get that done, we're good to go. This is right with Mara. This is what's in the child's school, and then his response to it is pretty fitting when you get right down to it. So this Stop the Bleed kit located inside for children that have been wounded by gun violence in the school.
Right.
And his response to that is, if I have to explain to my kid why this is necessary in school, then I don't care that you have to explain to your kid why Target has a pride section. Seriously, not one bit. And let's go into that from there to this, right? Because you saw that idiot going through a Target store the other day, just destroying displays of pride gear, right?
Yeah.
Well, wrong thing. I clicked on the wrong thing. That was me.
Legs.
So Wanda Sykes, until a drag queen walks into a school and beats 8 kids to death with a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, I think you're focusing on the wrong shit.
Thank you, Miss Sykes.
Nailed it. Completely nailed it. Because responses to Brian MD tweet are largely along the lines of, you don't have to explain this. One person says, this is the first time I've seen this because I live in a country that values children's lives over guns. One person's response was, shit, they seriously have wound packs in schools now? Not tampons, though, right? Not condoms, but quick clot? Yes. It's just so disturbing, so troublesome, so problematic. And they'll go on and on about drag queens reading to children, but children beauty pageants are rampant throughout the southern U.S. Bible Belt area. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. Children's beauty pageants. And I mean like children, like 4, 6, 8-year-old girls.
JonBenet Ramsey.
That's okay. but a drag queen reading to children is warped somehow.
And
There's grooming, and then there's grooming.
Yeah, and then there's this, Mr. Grizzly. Patriot Front member facing 30 years for child porn charges. Let me guess, not a drag queen?
Not a drag queen.
Not a transgender person? Just guessing. Hey. What is the deal? What's the deal? Why?
I don't know.
We're in trouble, so we need to attack rainbow people. It's just so damn lazy. It's just so damn lazy. All right. My correction, my gentle correction to myself. On Friday's show, I said the following, Mr. Grizzly, if you will put it up.
50
years, and that's quite an accomplishment. Okay. Hold on. Yep. I knew that was on double speed. That sounded wrong. Let's try that.
See, I'm
there. You go.
I know what time it is.
Yeah, you're dialed in. You're dialed in, indeed. We have conservatives in bed with the bloc. Wink. We have we have PP and Blanchet, or I'm not saying PP now. He's poo-poo now. PP's too good. Pierre Poubelle. Pierre Poupou Lièvre. So we have Poupou and Pimp. So let's call him what he is. Allegedly. Pimp Blanchet. Racist Pimp Blanchet. Okay. That's the part. Now, I said allegedly. So, but let's put it this way. That little part was a low blow on my part. And it is a low blow because I have history with this man.
Right.
Blanchet. Blanchet, I don't know if I've mentioned it on this show before, but when Alain, can't remember his last name now, but when Jagmeet Singh made that speech in the House of Commons, and there was a member of the Bloc Québécois that made a gesture to him that didn't get caught on cameras because we don't have the cameras that take the whole view during question period. And that was denied, and Singh demanded an apology and did not get it. And then you had this guy went into hiding and hid behind Blanchet's pant leg.
Yes.
And I wrote some tweets asking, Blanchet, why don't you let this man speak for himself? Explain himself and let us decide whether or not we accept the apology. Let Mr. Singh decide whether or not he accepts his apology, rather than you saying there he did nothing wrong. And anyway, one thing led to another, and within like a space of like à l'intérieur there. Thank you, Kid James. Within the space of two or three tweets, Mr. Blanchet in French accused me of wanting the lynching.
That's pretty heavy.
Of à l'intérieur, and this was during the whole context of George Floyd, and so. I thought that was irresponsible, and I made a big stink of it, and I got on a couple of shows, one of them being Charles Adler's, which is how I established a connection with him. Yeah. And then later on that year, Blanchet then came out and said, we should be able to be saying the N-word for academic purposes and, that type of stuff, right? It's like just... You don't get to say the word. I know you really, 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 really want to say it. You don't. You don't. Okay. So yeah, I have a little history. I do not like the man. I do not like the man at all. Because his next move was going to go, oh, well, lynchage in French means a totally different thing. You know what's going on if you're using the word lynch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I meant political lynching in French. It's a different thing.
Nice try.
Right. So, but I let that particular thing color my commentary there. So
It happens. Emotions sometimes get the best of you.
Yeah.
You're only human.
I don't like him. He's not a
Right.
nice man. But when I say pimp, let's call him what he is. Even though I said allegedly, that's, yeah. So I'm going to retract that.
Okay.
Because I care about being a good person. Know better, do better. But please don't mistake that for me having any more affection or respect for the man. It's just, I don't want to put that out there. So thank you for that. Let me have that moment, kids. Just, yeah, I don't want to be that show.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand.
Yeah. Lynching.
Do what you got to do when you got to do it, right?
PNC bio lynching in French means knuckles. Yeah, and then he probably would have invited me in for some. No, see, I'm doing it again. See, no, that was tongue in cheek. That was tongue in cheek. But yes, I wanted to just every now and then. Like we just had the comment about like saying stupid stuff. Your mouth gets the best of you. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That being done. oh, I'm not reading that one on air, Kid James. Ooh, man. Okay. Spicy. Let's see.
No, I'm not reading that one.
Yeah, right.
No, it's funny. I'm not going to say it.
It's funny. It's funny as hell.
Well,
No. Some kids don't be sorry, Kid James. Some things are meant for the chat, and some things are meant to be read out loud.
No, it's fine. I don't have an issue with what you said. I think it's hilarious. I'm just not going to read it out loud. That's all. Anybody, and now we've created a curiosity. People are going to watch the replay of this. They'll be like, "Oh, when's the chat available? When's the chat available? I got to see that. All the more reason to tune in, folks. This is why you watch the show.
Ooh, you are smooth. Mr. Grizzly. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what my lady says.
But all right. Oh man. Okay, we're going off the rails. We're jumping from subject to subject. Oh my god. Do you want me to quickly join you so that I can say it? Oh. No. Thank you. Very generous. But
very, very kind of you.
No. I love my friends. They're all so helpful. My word. Yeah, exactly, Kid Elaine. We don't need any freaking rails. We're jumping a little bit from subject to subject this morning. But I heard an interview with Dick Fadden, former director of the Canadian Security Intelligence Service.
Everybody loves good Dick.
Yep.
I got you, didn't I?
I love it. Also served as National Security Advisor to both Prime Ministers Harper and Trudeau. He mentioned something that was really interesting, actually, in some comment, that he was surprised that in David Johnston's report that there was no mention at all for a role for the chief election officer. And he did make a thing, even though a public inquiry wouldn't be fully public because so much of it would be happening behind closed doors. It is true, and he did point that out when we had the Rouleau thing. The benefit of a full public inquiry is that there are lawyers arguing both sides of the case before an independent person, which is true. And I could see how there would be a benefit to someone making the case that, yes, this is as horrible as conservatives are saying, and like, no, it isn't. And trying to table as much evidence as you can that could be public available for that. But the thing is that all these comments are taking place in a context in which the basic assumption, the fundamental assumption, is that there exists some type of super clever, technocratic or bureaucratic way to organize this type of process that would leave the Conservatives without any avenue for complaint, which that's not going to happen, because if they're not bitching, they're not happy. Right? And that there exists a reality in which the Conservatives would ever claim or agree to be satisfied either by the process or the person leading the process or its end result. Yeah, but not like that, but not that guy. And the proof of this is that all these people, you've got people going like, we need to bring this before like a judge, preferably one with some experience in national security. And you got Son Laurie going, why don't we have it this? But you notice they never have a short list of names. Who is this mythical unicorn former judge with national security experience that would have top security clearance equal to one that would be needed to be the representative of the Queen?
Mm.
The country that has an incredible reputation, that has served prime ministers from both sides, that has. Where's your short list? Who is this? Where's this long list of people from whom we could have chosen that would have satisfied you? Not people that say, "Oh yeah, we could have picked him, and then we picked him, and then we would have picked him, and then oh no, not him." What is this short
Not
list?
like that.
Right? They're all talking about some mythical unicorn person that exists out there who would be more qualified or better positioned than David Johnston, but nobody has any names. They can describe this person, a former judge with this experience, but they can't suggest who so-and-so would have been a better choice. Nobody has actually mentioned a name.
Of course not.
And that's how you know. And that's how you know. That's how you know it's bullshit. Because if there were some, and there were so many, that this was obviously a cover-up. He chose the one person out of so many that would cover it up for him because they were friends. He grew up, skiing, sitting on David Johnston's lap.
Here's an article directly from the Hill Times. Foreign interference. Poilievre wants to stir up scandal without knowing the facts. As Jagmeet considers Pierre Poilievre's call to force a public inquiry, he must ask whether protecting democracy is the Conservatives' main motivation. He wants to be prime minister so badly that he started to tell NDP leader Jagmeet Singh how to do his job.
Oh, so now Pierre wants to be the leader of the NDP.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. He doesn't care just as long as he leads, right? Leads.
Right. Well, he wants to lead all the parties. Get freedom to live as I tell you to. Freedom to live as I tell you to.
I'm not sure who wrote. I got to check and see who wrote this, because Michael Harris. Okay. I love this statement. And I've met Michael Harris, sat and had a coffee with him, discussed a book he wrote years ago. Poilievre finds a scandal under everyone else's pillow. Under his own, of course, is a shiny Bitcoin from the Tooth Fairy. Oh, Mr. Harris. I love that. Sir.
Very good.
Built my hat to you.
Yes. Hold on. We need to go into the Beaver Lodge tickle trunk here. Mr. Harris. That was a fine
That's the
quip.
top hat. Yes, that is a fine quip. Good sir.
There you go.
Sir.
Yes. Now I've just made an entire mess of my desk. Oh man. So yeah, all of these contexts, all of these comments from national security officials, the few that are saying, I'm getting the impression the majority are saying that yes, a public inquiry probably wouldn't have been very beneficial or not the way to go. But for the few of them that are, and they're saying, well, these are some benefits, and this is again a very fair comment. Some benefits that a public inquiry process could have. But remember, we are assuming here, right, that there exists a reality in which conservatives under Pierre Poilievre or Poilievre would behave in a manner that is first in the best interests of the nation.
Mhm.
I'm not convinced.
No.
I'm not convinced that there are a set of variables that could all be aligned with the stars at the exact same time and at the exact right moment where lightning strikes and then the body comes back to life to make it so that conservatives would put the best interests of the nation before fundraising. It's not going to happen. The script for the next act of this overwrought melodrama, which is kind of saying something considering that melodramas are inherently overwrought, is pretty much already written.
Oh, I've got one for you here.
We know what
this is from Mrs. Betty Bowers.
Oh,
Christian nationalism. So Christian nationalism is just white supremacy and Bible drag. Yep.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's a swish. Swish. Nothing but net on that one.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. We've had some bishops coming out. There's been two recently that I've seen some tweets from saying some not nice things.
Mm-hmm.
Not nice things at all about gay people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I like your Christ, but I'm not a big fan of you Christians. You're not at all like your Christ, because I do know that, like, I'm sorry, sir, but whatever it is that you're doing, that's not a very Christian look, Bishop.
No, it's not.
Yes. And then we have this here, right? So a reminder that Catholics oppose men dressed in drag while their leaders dress like this. And of course, you've got pictures of all this regalia,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm
a
like,
drag queen wishes they could dress like that.
Yeah. And it's like Benedict basically had a Prada version of the Ruby Reds from The Wizard of Oz, for fuck's sakes. I'm full-fledged gay, and trust me when I say it's quite hard to sport a gayer look. Go on, girl. Give us a twirl. And to show you how it's done, one of my favorite people in the world, I refer to him as Cool Rev. Rev Daniel.
Oh, Reverend Daniel. Yeah.
Lauren Boebert, take your kids to church, not a drag show. Me, oh, honey. And there we go. There's the twirl. I think he was ready for that was the night the Met Gala had a religious theme.
Oh, okay.
For their fashions. So that was Cool Rev Daniel making sure. So yeah, you know what? Being holy doesn't mean that you have to lose your sense of humor. Go on, girl. Give us a twirl. You know what? For all the times that women have been told, come on, girl. Honey, give me a twirl, darling. You know what, Bishop? Give us a twirl.
In other news, you heard about what happened in Hamilton, eh?
Oh,
did you hear about what happened in Hamilton?
Yeah.
So a landlord was in dispute with a couple, and he murdered them, and then had a standoff with police, and was shot dead. And so the police said he had firearms registered to him. And one of the comments, and these are not my words, okay? This is a comment from somebody on Twitter, Don Cochran, YOW. So this is a fella here in Ottawa. Police said he had firearms registered to him, but I thought that legal gun owners were not a problem, that they are the most law-abiding people on the planet. I'm not going to weigh into the weeds on that one. I'm not, because I know a lot of gun owners who are very much in support of our gun laws and registration and controls. And so I'm not going to weigh into the weeds on that one. I'm just, reading out what somebody else said. But here's what our good friend Sam G said last night. And 2 people were literally slaughtered in the street by their landlord last night. And people are using this as an opportunity to talk about checks notes, how hard it is to be a landlord these days. She's not wrong. That's a lot of what the commentary was all about. I'm like, really? Really? That's where people that's what has happened to society, that they're so concerned about a landlord getting paid. And in this case, as I understand it, the dispute was over repairs that the landlord needed to do and didn't do. And so this couple said, that's it, we're out. And he murdered them. Now, I have lots of friends who are landlords. I have family members who are landlords. So, I hear the plight, but that ain't the road to go down. That is not, you don't defend the man who murdered people and say, well, it's tough to be a landlord. Excuse me? He murdered 2 people.
It's hard out there for a pimp.
Well, that's like the folks who say, when they say to atheists, well, if you don't believe in God or heaven, why aren't you out there murdering and killing people?
Yeah.
And Ricky Gervais has a great comment on that from a television show he has on Netflix, where he says, because, I'm a moral human being. If you need to have the threat of Hades in the afterlife that you believe in to keep you from murdering and raping people, maybe you're the bad person.
You think?
I mean, it's pretty crazy, right?
Jeez. And if Kit James is still there, maybe. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping I was going to get a shout out for referencing the rap song that's hard out there for a pimp. First, and I believe only rap song to win the Oscar for best song for a film. So there you go. Darn, I thought I was going to get like a cool credit. Darn.
Alas.
Alas. So yeah, we have this bishop here. I just had it right here in front of me. Bishop Robert Barron, who was, I don't know if I should, you know what? It is so silly and ridiculous. I think it needs to be played. Not because we support it, because this is just so terrible. It needs to be mocked.
Okay.
Right? I'm a big believer, right? When you get these people and they're in public and you're like, stand, point, laugh. Every time. Stand. Right. You think nothing takes away someone's power. Stand, point, laugh, mock them. Every frickin' time. So this guy here, now, I'm not sure if this guy would be able to teach in Quebec with the ostentatiousness of the cross he is wearing, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah, they'd kick him out.
That's big and it hangs really low.
Yeah, no religious symbols in public, right? That's the rule in Quebec. Yeah.
All right, look at this. Okay, looks very fatherly, right? Nice happy face, right? Looks like a guy you could go to tell your problems to.
Hey everybody, it's Bishop Barron. I'm sure by now you've all heard about this controversy involving the LA Dodgers and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. The Dodgers invited this group, which I think can only be described as an anti-Catholic hate group, invited them to be honored at the Dodger Stadium. Then when there was a howl of protest from Catholics and others, they disinvited them, good move. But then they re-invited them. And the re-invitation was accompanied by a kind of pathetic apology where they were praised for all the great work that they do. Now, look, I'm not going to go into all the details. Look them up on YouTube or something. You'd find what they do. I'll give you one example. I think it was on Easter Sunday. There was a display where they have Jesus on the cross, so the most sacred moment in history for Catholics. And a drag queen comes in and kind of pulls Jesus off the cross, then does a sort of pole dance on the cross. For Catholics.
Okay, number one, you have to understand, sacred cows make the best hamburger.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's hard to imagine anything more offensive than that. Suppose this group had dressed up in a kind of simulacrum of a rabbi and had done something deeply disrespectful to the Torah, or take it a step further, had dressed up in a mockery of a Muslim cleric or imam, and then it desecrated the Quran, what would the reaction be? Those questions answer themselves, but somehow attacking Catholics in this most disgraceful way is okay. Not only okay, it should be honored. Everybody, I've said this before, but there's a long tradition in our country of anti-Catholicism. It was said famously, about a century ago, the last acceptable prejudice in America is anti-Catholicism. But we shouldn't tolerate it. One thing I would say, since the Dodgers clearly are not responding to a decent appeal to reason, I'd encourage my friends back in LA. Look, I was auxiliary bishop for 6 years in LA. I threw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game a few years ago. But I'd encourage my friends back there, boycott the Dodgers. May I say, too, especially my Hispanic friends, many of whom are big baseball fans out there, this is your religion. This is the religion of your family, of your abuela and abuelo, of your familia, your tradición. Why are we tolerating this? We shouldn't be tolerating it. So let's pray, everybody. Let's pray for the defense of our faith, and let's stand for the Catholic faith. Hey, everybody, it's Bishop Aaron. I'm sure by
let's pray for your faith and the defense of your faith, because Mr. Grizzly, I know you're doing this.
It's really loud. It's really loud.
But I can't see the knob, and you keep on telling me to turn it up and down. So we can't have it all.
You got to tell me that. You got to tell me that you can't see it. I don't know that. I see you reaching. So it's just you turned it up too high. That's all.
Okay. Hold on. Let me take a check.
There we go. That's good. That's good.
All right. So yes, we have to pray for the faith, because this guy's not doing it. Now, Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, Mr. Grizzly, this is what
is that a real thing?
Yeah, it is. It is. Absolutely. It's a San Francisco-based group.
Okay.
The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are a leading-edge order of queer and trans nuns. We believe all people have a right to express their unique joy and beauty. Since our first appearance in San Francisco on Easter Sunday, 1979, so he's only gotten around to discovering how they're so evil and anti-Catholic now, the sisters have devoted ourselves to community service, ministry, and outreach to those on the edges, and to promoting human rights, respect for diversity, and spiritual enlightenment. Seems that they're better Christians than the alleged Christian. Yeah. We use humor and irreverent wit to expose the forces of bigotry, complacency, and guilt that chain the human spirit. Well, no wonder he was offended by the pole dance on the cross. Okay. Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. This is what he wants you to be afraid of.
Oh my goodness, how could I ever? Yes, that's they must be Satanists because they have makeup on, like Kiss, right? That's what it is. Is that what it boils down to?
Fight evil with love.
Yeah. There
you go, Dodgers. Terrible. I mean, look at these makeup jobs. Seriously.
Wow. That reminds me of the Flying Nun, that habit.
Yeah. So they go all over. They do charity work. They raise money. They give grants. I mean, it's incredible.
He doesn't like the organization because it doesn't fall within his confines of what should be a good Catholic. It's what it boils down to. You've colored outside the lines, and I don't like you, is what he's saying.
Yeah. But let's just, for example, they have a history. They go in the decades. 1980. Well, decades. They go by year. They've done so much. 1983. The first AIDS candlelight visual in 1983 was orchestrated by the sisters, led by the banner "Fighting for Our Lives," which was painted on her apartment floor by Sister Vicious PHB. 1986, marching in the Pride Parade that year, inside the shaft of a 40-foot penis covered in a huge condom.
Okay. Well, you do have to address it because it is,
to promote
it's
safer
a
sex.
thing.
The fifth,
you have to address it.
The fifth exposition baseball event thrown by the sisters, Rally Round the Quilt, a fundraiser for the Names Quilt Project, distributed over $5,400. 1991. By June, the sisters brought the large show performance art piece Dimanche d'Indulge to Paris to celebrate the investiture of the Paris Order, where we delivered our executor, officially recognizing them. So now they do work around the world. There are chapters and orders all around the world. Governor Wilson vetoed the statewide gay rights bill. The resulting riot at the state building in San Francisco featured a photo of the back of two nuns ramming a barricade through the glass doors of the buildings. Who were they? We'll never tell. Some civil disobedience. Let's go. 1995 for the. Let's see. The sisters assisted in putting together La Clubstituta a la Oasis that raised the first legal $1,000 for San Francisco Proposition 215, legalizing medical marijuana. 2000. I mean, they're just raising money. 2003, the sisters celebrate a record year financially, bringing in over $100,000, with 80% of that money going back into the community. That's 2003. They raise so much. 2015, the sisters gave out $40,000 in our grant cycles despite the loss of Pink Saturday. They're helping. They're doing the
but
work.
They're not doing it the way that they want you to do it.
But
is what it boils down
to.
Right?
But they're dressed funny, and they believe that sacred cows make the best hamburger. Tasty, tasty burgers. So the bishop.
Now I want a hamburger.
So the bishop felt he needed. It's men dressed in almost clown drag that raise money for charity, being recognized at a baseball game. That's this man's Waterloo. Not starving children, not children being abused by other members of the clergy, not Meals on Wheels, not people that don't have enough to eat. This is what he felt needed 2 minutes and 20 of his time at a video.
Well, I just got something across the feed from the Western Standard pitch bot, which falls in line with what we're talking about here, believe it or not. And you're familiar with the Western Standard pitch bot. It's satire and parody below the real Western Standard. Breaking, Red Deer post office workers baffled by sudden arrival of thousands of mysterious costumes. The packages were simply addressed to the women of Alberta, care of David Parker. And let me just put this on the screen for you here. And here are the costumes sent.
They're Handmaid's Tales costumes.
Yes, for those who are listening.
Yeah. So
praise be.
See, again, we were talking about Brie Arthur. If I had a shirt that said "Praise Be," it would be "Praise Be" BEA with a picture of Brie Arthur on it. Oh wow! I don't get these people.
No, I don't either. I don't understand it. I don't, and I won't. I never will.
Why are we afraid of people that like to be whimsical?
I don't know. People are afraid of what they don't understand, and if they don't understand it, they're going to lash out, right? Because,
but as Charles said, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you have to hate it.
Well, this is the thing, right? There's no need to hate it because you don't understand it. But yeah, I just don't. Yeah.
I don't. Just the first reaction was like, we must destroy it. Yeah. Anyway, some news. If you live in Ontario, since we're talking about elections, the leadership contest for the Ontario Liberal Party is starting to heat up. We have 3, I'm guessing, fully declared candidates now. The first being Nathaniel Erskine Smith, who definitely we talked about him a little bit, considered to be a little bit of a maverick, even though he's voted 96% of the time with his party. Yes. But definitely has made a name for himself. People know who he is. And very earnest. Someone who is definitely media savvy, who presents well, who has interesting things to say. The second candidate is Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie. Sure, it seems that she thinks that the party might need to be brought back to the center right.
Yeah.
I
disagree.
But I disagree too. But so, Nathaniel Erskine Smith is probably a little more left, maybe closer to the NDP wing side of the Liberals. Bonnie Crombie is probably closer to the PC wing, and yesterday declared, and I must be open and transparent because I am helping. I've been asked to help a little bit with this. Ted Hsu, representative for Kingston and the Islands, which is where I live, the Beaver Lodges. So he launched yesterday. And so we have three quality candidates.
Mike Greiner was asked to cross the floor.
Schreiner.
Yeah, my apologies.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what the status of that is.
He said he's considering it. I don't know where it is now. I think he would make a great leader, to be honest. He was the only guy in that in the debates that actually stayed on point and discussed what he had to say instead of slinging muck at each other.
So I don't know where that is. I know that membership sales close sometime in September, and I think the vote's going to be in November, I think. But we have three candidates that are declared. There's some rumors that there could be up to three more. Probably not as well known. These are probably the three better known candidates. Ted Hsu stands out in that he was both a federal, I believe, a federal and a provincial representative. He was federal for a while, and then I think he had left politics for a little bit because I think there was some personal stuff or family stuff that he had to deal with. Don't quote me on that one. And then it came back and ran provincially. And when Stephen Harper got his majority, he was one of the few Liberals that won. And now Doug Ford got his majority. He's one of the 8 Liberals that won, and he actually flipped a seat as well because this riding was NDP in the previous Ontario election.
Right.
So when he won, I thought maybe he would be a potential candidate because, in an election where you get 8 seats, if you're someone who's net gained a seat, flipped one. If you only have 8 MPs, that kind of puts a big arrow pointing at you, going, maybe you should run for the leadership. So, like I said, I have to personally declare I'm helping him with some media training. So I just want to make sure that all the kids know full disclosure, because I'm talking. I'm hoping that this won't allow me to won't affect my impartiality when I'm talking about it, because when Nate Erskine Smith entered the race, we were excited. We were happy. It's going to bring attention to it. Bonnie Crombie, a name. It's a name to be excited about because it shows that there are serious people with good reputations that are willing to run for the leadership of the party, and the party's not dead because the last leadership race that they had contest, clear. That was the choice wasn't great, and who was selected wasn't great, at all. We'll be talking more about it, and of course, every time we talk about it, I will be disclosing my conflict. If I happen to forget it because my mouth is going too fast, kids, please remind me, because I don't want to do the Andrew Coyne thing. Right? So I don't want to be talking, saying, no, especially if, even if legitimately, right, one of the other candidates has a blunder and Ted, who I'm helping, has a great day. And I'm objectively saying it still says, well, yeah, you would say he had a great day. Right? So I just want you to know, and anything that I'm doing for the campaign is volunteer. But anything that I do specifically for him, specific media training outside, for anything portfolio, for that I've been hired. So there's a portion of the work that I do that will be paid, and there's a portion of the work that I do that's volunteer. Anything that is for the campaign specifically is volunteer. It just has to be that way, and you have to keep both pots very, 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 very separate. So there you go, kids. But we have a race. We have a race for the Ontario Liberal leadership, because we didn't get a race for the NDP one. Merritt Stiles was pretty much acclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like this. And if they get 3 more candidates, they'll have a very good, strong field of 6, which means that the 6 is good. It's not too many that you have like that Republican clown car thing that happened.
Or the mayor of Toronto. What is there, 100 people running for mayor of Toronto?
Right. But enough that you're going to get a variety of positions and people on various parts in the spectrum. We're on that's considered liberal from the left or the right in that section of the spectrum, and lots of debates and policy ideas. And I'm pretty sure that Nate Erskine-Smith will probably be very pro UBI. Bonnie Crombie maybe not so much. Yeah, but you're going to have a clash of ideas, right? And you're going to have this. So it looks like we might actually have a race that will be interesting and maybe actually catch some media interest, which would not be bad for the party.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad at all, actually. Would be a good thing.
I agree. I think that's pretty much all I have for today, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah, I got a meeting in 10 minutes, so
okay.
Let's wrap it up, sir.
Let's wrap it up there. All right.
I have a thing here, a commentary of actually.
Okay.
Regarding Daniel Smith, and this is the last thing I'll leave everybody with in regards to the Alberta election. At this time, we'll have more this evening, obviously, because we're going live at what 9:30 or 10?
9:30.
9:30.
9:30 Eastern Time, 7:30
Alberta time. Okay, so here's a clip.
On today, the day of the Alberta election, I want to take a moment to remind you of the single worst thing that Danielle Smith has said. It was a tough decision. She says a lot of stuff. But I would argue that the single most offensive thing that she said was her loud denial of residential schools. She insists that the deaths of children is not what happened. She denies the existence of mass graves. She denies the veracity of the grave sites that have been found. And she denies the deaths of the children. And as her source, she cites True North media and insists that the mainstream media is not worth watching and that she uses the alt media to verify facts. This is who wants to be premier. This is who seeks to lead Alberta on the path to reconciliation. Stand against this, Alberta. It's wrong. On today.
Yeah. And a little note on that, just to be sure, because the Indigenous community said it itself. That was the reaction in the first days, Daniel Smith. But even the Indigenous community says, please don't refer to them as mass graves. Refer to them as unmarked graves.
Yes.
Moment. But whatever we're calling them, they're there.
They're real. They happened. Yeah.
They're there, Danielle. They're there. Kids, please don't vote for assholes.
Don't. You do it, and don't vote against your own best interests, because that's what you do if you vote for this person.
And if you're in Alberta and you typically vote UCP,
or Conservative,
please perhaps consider the value of voting for a party that does not gleefully show open contempt for more than half of the population.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Open searing contempt. Perhaps consider it. So, yes, tonight we have our True North Eager Beaver election special. Yay!
And I have an ASMR show just before that. So
yes. So
I'll be very mellow when I come on.
Good. So please join us this evening, 7:30 Mountain Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. Polls close in Alberta at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. So make sure to get your vote in. And remember, if you are still in line past 8 o'clock, do not leave. Because if you're in line, you will get to vote. And if somebody's trying to make sure or pretend that you don't get to vote stay in line, do not listen to it. And also, Albertans, if you happen to be at your polling station today and happen to see cars with UCP local logos on them around the polling station, take pictures, document it, send it to Elections Alberta.
Yes, because they could be there threatening people. Could be. We're not alleging anything.
There should be there's no campaigning at polling stations ever.
Period. Yeah,
and the UCP have been doing this throughout the advanced polling.
It's completely against all the rules.
Completely against all the rules. So just, be careful. Be careful. But yes, we have a show for you this evening, and we have a decent number of guests. We may have the boss himself.
Oh, okay.
Come in for early. He's on a business trip in Vegas at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually wrote me as he was getting on the plane last night. But we have our good friend Nate Pike from the Breakdown Alberta, who will be joining us probably for the latter half of the show, because this is his beat and we'll want his thoughts and impressions to close off the evening.
Yes.
We will have Hugh and Richard Gordon from Albertistan Live, who are doing their own thing tonight, and we might actually we're going to attempt doing a simulcast for the portion that we're on together, or maybe the whole thing. Who knows? But they're going to call me this morning, and we're going to try and figure out how we do that. We will also
reach out to Rook if you have to.
Yep. I'm in contact with him. Okay. We will also have with us Mr. David Wallace.
Yes. I'm very excited about this.
He has agreed to come on our election show tonight. And he has, as Kit James pointed out, his new show is starting today. He actually said, nobody say anything to piss off Paul today. Also, Paul, David Wallace is launching his podcast with Arthur Pawlowski at noon.
I don't have an issue with that. I don't. I'll tell you why I don't have an issue with that. I'm pretty sure David will hold his feet to the fire, because David has all the receipts, remember?
I'm surprised that Pawlowski is going to... Is this guy just so thirsty for attention he'll go on absolutely any platform, even if he knows he's going to be eviscerated?
Well, I think it's a couple of things here. I think, yes, there's a portion of he's desperate for the attention, but I also think he is so vain and so confident that nothing bad will happen to him, because he's kind of an asshole. And an arrogant asshole at that. So they tend to think they're the smarter ones and in control. But I'm like, you're coming up against a man who did this for decades, who has all of the receipts.
Yeah.
This could be very interesting.
Yeah. Who else have we? Unfortunately, we do not have Max Fawcett, David Climenhaga, or Murray Billett tonight. I know that Kits have been wanting Murray to come back ever since we did that interview, because he's great. They have engagements of their own already.
As expected, yes.
Well, I mean, Max Fawcett's covering this, so he'll be going from event to event. And
he's busy.
David Climenhaga will be writing articles and penning stuff. We're hoping to have Craig Baird of Canadian History A coming in. He's also live tweeting history, Alberta election history tonight, so he doesn't know if he'll have time, but we'll be sending him a link, and if he has a lull, he'll be popping in and out for short bursts to give us a little bit of history, and if not, then we will be following what he is tweeting so that we can read some of the history into the show. We've asked for his permission for that, so either way, he'll be making an appearance, if not in person, then his words.
To answer your question, Elaine, I believe it's noon Eastern Standard Time, Ontario-ish. So just I believe that's when David Wallace, because David's in Ontario.
Okay. And we have, as well, to help us close this show, along with Nate, Mr. Charles Adler.
Oh, outstanding. You did. Okay, great. Excellent. I wasn't sure if we were able to get him or not, but I know he's part of the network, and we're all part of the same Crier Media family, but schedules, times,
Yeah. So, I think we've got a good show lined up.
I think so.
I think we might have a show that may may possibly be more interesting than what you might see on TV. Maybe. Maybe. Who knows? But hey, if you are looking for a non-traditional viewing party for the Alberta election results tonight, why don't you pop on over to the Beaver Lodge this evening? Bring yourself a little snack, bring yourself a libation, maybe a potent potable. Who knows? We might need one.
if you need to mellow out just before that, from 9 to 9:30, I will be doing an ASMR show to try and bring everybody down to earth, soothe and calm everyone before the chaos. It's best to go into chaotic moments in a calm, soothed, centered, meditative state.
Oh, Mr. Grizzly, the way you do that is just so smooth.
Oh, thank you very much.
You just slid that right in there. Kid Tim, I will need a 40-ouncer. Kids, if you see me this evening,
none for me this evening. None for me this evening. I have an early day tomorrow and a very long one at that, so no alcohol tonight for me.
If you see me with the glass in each hand, you know Daniel Smith won. You could listen with the sound off. If you see me pick up 2 glasses at one point, if I'm holding 1 glass all throughout the night, we're good. 2 glasses, run head for the hills. Kit Toronto Dan goes half ounce, 26% sativa. Well, you know, so long as you got your 40%, either 40 proof or.
Well, you know.
Oh man. So yeah, please do join us as Kitla Dam says, a star-studded spectacular. And of course, you know, I like anything that has studs. So they sent me. It's like the kids know me. It's like the kids know me.
I didn't see that one coming.
It's like we're playing volleyball. There's like setting and seeing if I'm going to come up and spike it.
So this will be the last week of the beard. Next week, and we gotta run this by Dean and see if we can get some exposure for this. Next week will be the start of the shave. Each day will be different. I'm desperate to get rid of this thing. Like, I'm just so tired of it. It's 10 months. It's time to go. So I'll get some stuff put together and have it for tomorrow morning's show, and then I'll put some stuff on Twitter and on Facebook so that it can get exposed to a wider audience, and we can raise some money for a good charity.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe there might have been a haircut coming for this particular show that I could have done something with a little bit. However, I just found out that the latest musical coming to Kingston for audition is "We Will Rock You."
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're gonna need long hair for that.
So I'm thinking I might have to find another solution for this play because I really want in on that one.
Yeah, well, you'll need the length for that.
Yeah, I do. All right, kits. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. We hope that you love listening to us because we loved making this for you. Because democracy is something that you do. Vote. Bring someone with you. And then watch the True North Eagle Beaver Alberta election special. That's how you do democracy today, kids. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on the Crier Media Network, as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated. And we hit the charts again this weekend. So thank you very much, Kits, for putting us on there. We really appreciate it. Also today, if you're on the Twitter feed for our show in circulation, we have our 4 Alberta election specials. So if you want to catch up, we haven't done one in May. We had hoped to do at least one in May, but life's got really busy. But we have.
No, we did one in May, didn't we?
No, the last one I believe we had is April 30th.
Oh, okay.
Just under the wire. But we still have the 4. So please, if you've not caught up, please do listen to that and then tune in to us this evening. If you like this podcast, you can find us on the Crier Media Network as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. I think I might have said that already. I'm not sure. Stars and reviews are appreciated. Please be generous, but we won't tell you how many, but please be generous.
High five.
High five.
High five.
High five.
There we go. We love to hear from you. Reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, on our Twitter with True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. There you go. You can subscribe via our pod page, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. Or, hey, since you're clicking stuff, why not subscribe to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? That helps us out big time. And as Kit Lane says, smash them buttons. Yeah. We can't do this with your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show, or if you think that the show we're going to do this evening sounds pretty darn good, you say, hey, we need to encourage these people to do more. Well, there's a way you can do that. You just scan that little QR code that's by Mr. Grizzly's head, and that will bring you to our emergency hydration fund. Coffee, Guinness, Caesars, hot chocolate. We're not picky. We'll drink it. If you put it in our cup, well, maybe not. Just going to say, if you put it in our cup and we'll drink it, but then I remember the internet exists, so maybe not.
We've all
not.
seen Two Girls, One Cup, right?
Maybe not. Yeah, see, that was my mouth going faster than my brain here. I was like, yeah, maybe we'll do this. Maybe I should reconsider that as I'm saying it. But if you're listening, then you got your fingers do the walking to coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. One word, lowercase letters, and that's where you make your donation. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Mr.
That'll take you right to the pod page.
Groovy graphics. So there you go.
You scan that, takes you right to the web page that where everything shows up, and then you can listen to it on the pod page, or you can go to Spotify or Apple or Google or Castro or RS. You get all the places where you get your finer podcasts.
Yeah, wherever we get around. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear kids, it could be a tough world out there, so be kind to and gentle with yourself, and vote, and don't vote alone, and don't vote often, because you can only vote once in this election. But vote every chance you get. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom for us before we go?
Really, today it's just remember when you go to the ballot box in the province of Alberta that you are choosing the future for not only yourself, but for children, grandchildren, your neighbors, your friends, the people you don't know. You're making a decision that will affect everyone's life. And it's important that you remember that, because that's something that a lot of people forget about. Oh, my vote doesn't count. Yeah, actually it does.
It does.
It gives you a voice. And it's important that you express it and use your voice. Now, I might disagree with your expression, but I recommend that you at least get out there and vote.
Yeah, and even if you live in an electoral district where you think, okay, like this is like so UCP, it's not even worth it. No.
It is worth it.
Because if those are ridings that they usually win with 70% and this time they win with 50, that sends a message. It sends a message. So your vote is never wasted. Right? You have to understand the fact that you get your say doesn't necessarily mean you will get your way.
Yeah, but you get your say.
But have your say. Don't give it up, because if you don't, you just simply surrender your power.
And you don't want to do that.
And remember, a vote not cast is just as good for the other party as a vote cast for it.
Oh, yes.
Right? A UCPer who stays home and decides not to vote is just as good as a vote for the NDP. So get out there and vote. Vote. All right. Mr. Grizzly, please roll them credits.
I will do that.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, Hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Still dancing, huh?
Dancing for democracy, baby. Dancing for democracy.
That's one way to put it. I'm going to go lie down for a few minutes because my allergies are kicking my butt. I got to send a message to the office and let them know. I'm supposed to go in for a 10 o'clock meeting, but it looks like it's been pushed back, so that might work to my advantage today. Anyway,
Oh, small mercies. Rest
yeah,
well.
small mercies, exactly. All right, well, I'll see everybody tonight at 9 p.m. in my SMR channel to bring you down, get you centered, get you in the groove before we see what happens with the province of Alberta.
And hopefully we'll have something to celebrate.
Let's hope so. See ya.